Trump does not hate as an African. Trump only wants what's better for his own people, the American people.
This is the Stereosis.
They cry by a lot of Nigerians and indeed other Africans over the Donald Trump's administration's decision to cancel funding of the US aid to Nigeria and other African nations is quite worrisome. This is because Africa, as we know it, is a continent that is rich in all forms of mineral resources, except good leadership. For instance, Nigeria, which is also rich in crude oil, has always been in fact, it has always been described as a fantastically corrupt nation. And then I agree with the propagators of such an idea. If you go deep down into matters concerning the US aid cancellation, you will notice that the US government places its citizens first. It is about national interest against other ephemeral interests or external interests. Donald Trump has always insisted that the interest of Americans come first against any other interest. Can Africans or African leaders adopt this kind of mentality? Yes, one is already doing it. I'm talking about Ibrahim Traore, the president of Burkina Faso, the military junta in Burkina Faso. Traore believes that Africa can feed, heal, and defend itself. And then Africa, when you do all these things, you have no need for foreign aid. Now, we all know about Nigeria and our president, who is about to build the coastal rail line. And then the coastal rail line, if you compare it with the amount that is being spent on the US aid, I tell you that the money for the coastal rail line, which is estimated to be around $9.8 billion. And then how much is the US aid that always comes to Nigeria per annum? It's about $500 million. Now, let's do a little bit of mathematics. Can you divide 9.8 billion by 500 million? The answer will be 19.6. That means the money that should have been used or that is being estimated to be used for the coastal rail line can actually fund the money for HIV retroviral drugs and that of tuberculosis. In 19 years, 6 months, the money is still being put into effective use. Use your head. Nigerians are not clamoring or crying over the outrageous sum that is being used to build the coastal rail line. But you are crying over a president's decision to actually put their own country first. If your leaders or if our leaders have always or persistently put our own people first, then Africa, as Traore has said, will have no need for foreign aids, or there will be no need for the high dependency in foreign aid, as Africa has always been very dependent on them. Now, if you look at the coastal rail line in Nigeria, the proposed coastal rail line, for which Landmark Resort and even the stadium that was started by Sporting Lagos was brought down for. Now, we do not know the economic impact, but the health of our people, especially those who are infected by HIV and AIDS, are very vital for our own people, even ahead of the coastal rail line. Now, Nigerians are not crying over who has the contract for the construction of the coastal rail line. Now, I shock you. The son of our own President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a board member of the company for which the contract was awarded. Now, we are not crying over the fact that there was a conflict of interest in the award of that contract. Rather, everybody kept mute. Everybody was looking at the demolition, or they were looking at it in the light of the demolition of the landmark, and then we are ignoring that there is also a conflict of interest in the award of the contract. The interest, the conflict of interest is the presence of the president's son in the company that to which the contract was awarded to. Nigerians, sometimes we are very crazy people. Now, I don't know if we think with our ass or we think with our heads. Because if we do, we must demand transparency from our leaders. We must demand accountability. We must demand justice and fair play in all areas of governance. Rather than cry over a government decision that is aimed at the interests of their own people being put first. Trump talks about America first. Trump does not hate you. As an African, Trump only wants what's better for his own people, the American people. Now, all the presidents or leaders in Africa and indeed the third world must endeavor to put their own people first, as Trump is doing. You look at your president going on the international arena and he's begging for aid. You're begging for aid as a president, and then you are allotting millions of dollars towards the renovation of what? The Asorok Villa, a gigantic structure that needs no renovation, that is as beautiful as it is, a structure that is a cynosure of every African country. Even some European countries don't have such gigantic structure. And you renovate them maybe every 8 years. To what purpose? And then you're buying private jets, you're buying cruise boats, and all the rest. And then Nigerians stupidly are here busy. What do you do? You're crying over another country's decision to put their own people first. You must be out of your mind.